Okay, well, let's try this one more time. This one is going to be the audio-video tutorial. So we'll show you how to put your audio, your video. So now you put your pictures in, now you can start making some sound in here too. Alright, so I'm going to show you what the app looks like to begin with, and then we'll build it from scratch. You probably want to download the completed app so that you have the audio and video files, unless you have a video file on hand. For some strange reason, I also put a WebView in here. I don't know why. But there's a web view in here. So if you play the web, well, that's the web view. Oops, here we go. I clicked on web view for some reason. Let's see, start video.
Hey everybody, this is a short video for demonstration purposes.
So now the video is running. You'll probably hear it. Oops. Well, demonstration purposes. Okay, stop the video. Audio. This is a tabbed application, by the way. So not very responsive, actually. Oh, that exited the app. So let's see. That's the video. Oh, here, start. Oh, I'm sorry. There we go. See, you can hear a guitar thing going on. That's not me. Stop it. I wish it was, actually. Alright, so let's forget about the tabs on the bottom. We'll make a variation of this. This is just kind of like a hodgepodge of stuff thrown into an app along with a web view. We don't necessarily have to put all that stuff in there, but let's go see how this works. So I'm exiting out. I'm going to exit out of the demo that I just showed you. I'm going to keep this open because we have the music.mp3 file, and then we have the video that's an MOV file. So this is a video playing a video, long story short. So let's see. Go ahead and open up Xcode. And let's see what we're going to do here. This one said to create a tabbed application. Let's go ahead and do that, because we could put the items on the two different tabs, and we haven't done a tabbed one yet, as far as I know. Maybe we have. I'm not sure. But it's in here for a reason, so let's go ahead and do it that way. So let's go ahead and open up Xcode, create a new project. See where it says tabbed application down here? This is the one we're going to pick. So my tabs weren't working in the last one for some reason, which is kind of weird. Or maybe it was. I don't know. So go ahead and click on next. I'm going to call this one audio visual, because my other one's probably called video or something. And I'm going to do it for the iPhone. And I'm going to keep all the defaults on the way that they're set. I'm going to click on next. And I'm going to save it to the desktop. So now I have a tabbed application. So you can see I have a first view controller, I have a second view controller, and I have a storyboard. Have we done a tabbed application yet? No. Okay, good. So let's see what it looks like. We're just going to run the default so we see what it looks like at least. Usually I have these things in a series, so they progressively show you new items. So that's what this one is doing. So down here it says first, and here's second. You see how it turns blue when I click on it? And you see the screen changes here? So I have a first view, then I have a second view. This is the tabbed application. You can actually load icons in here and load them into the tabs. It's pretty easy. So this actually counts as a multiple view application as well, by the way. So you could use this for your 5th or 6th or whatever assignment number that was. The one we did last week with the multiple views. Yeah. And if you look at the storyboard, you actually see a storyboard this time. You see view 1, view 2. So, and this one here is with this view controller. This one here is with that view controller. First and second view controller. So here's your orientation to the tab application template. Okay, so what we're going to do now is take a look, and we're going to expand out. We just did that a few minutes ago, so we're down through step number 4. In step number 4, we're going to add an audio toolbox.framework and an AV foundation.framework and a media player.framework in the build phases tab. If we can have it a little bit quieter, I won't have to feel like I'm yelling. Hello, thank you. I just feel like I'm screaming today for some reason. Don't like that. Okay, so let's see. I wanted to go back to Xcode. Here we go. Click on the project up here. I'm going to show you how to add these frameworks that you're going to need to add. If you don't add the frameworks, you're adding your video. It's not going to work. So you go and click on up here on the name of the project, and then click on Build Settings. excuse me, build phases is what I meant to say. Build phases is where we want to go. And we did this for core data. Okay, good. So linked binaries with libraries. And then press on the little plus. We did this for core data. So now what do we need? Well, here's one here. AV Foundation. So if you type in AV, Audio Video Foundation, click on Add. What were the other ones? We needed Media Player, AV Foundation, and Audio Toolbox. So I'm going to pick Audio Toolbox, and then Media Player, because we're doing audio and video, and there's two choices you have. I'm going to show you both. So Media Player.framework. There's also Core Media, Media Accessibility. Just don't worry about those. Just do Media Player works. So the three that I've added were the three that are on the top. It says Media Player, Audio Toolbox, and AV Foundation. So those are the three that we're going to need for this project. So let's see what else we needed to do here. We also need to add the music and the video clip to the project. So give the name of the file music and give the video. Well, we're going to cheat sheet it because I'm going to drag it in from the completed project. So let me find the completed project here. So you'll see in a few minutes where you can change the name if you want to play a different video. But what I'm going to demonstrate to you is how to play an audio and a video file. And these are the two, if it's easier to drag in. So this one's going to be called music.mp3. I'm loading it in now. And I'm going to copy it into the destination folder. And this one's called video.mov. And I'm copying that one in. So now I see them up at the top here, the MP3 file and the MOV file. It takes a variety of formats. You don't have to use MP3, but you can use AAC, and I believe you could use WAV and a bunch of other ones. So if you go through the iOS documentation, you can see exactly what you can use. Okay, so we dragged them in. So now we're going to set the first view controller.h file. We're going to create an instance of a UI WebView. I don't know why we're going to do this, but let's go ahead and do it. Maybe because we wanted Google to show up. I don't know. You guys wanted to put a UI WebView in there. Have we done a WebView yet?
No.
Oh, maybe that's why we're doing it. Okay, this is all about multimedia. So let's put a WebView in here too. So in the first view controller, we're going to create an instance of a UI WebView. We're going to drag a UI WebView object from the library. We're going to place it into the window. And then we're going to wire the WebView to the control, and we're going to call it Web Display. So let's just go ahead and do that. So click on the storyboard, and this is the first view controller, and it looks like it has a text box in here. I'm going to delete this guy. We don't need it for anything. I'm going to put this guy up here on the top. I'm going to change the name to WebView. Because we're putting a WebView in here. A little WebView up here. That looks pretty good. Now on the bottom in the library, I'm going to type in WebView. And I'm going to stick the WebView right here actually. What is this? This is a mini little web browser. It actually works. It'll work in your simulator as well. You can have it go to a URL. I'm surprised I haven't done this yet. Or you can, no, I haven't done this yet. Oh, now we're learning this one then. You can make it, actually if you make it the whole screen size, it will replace, there we go, we'll just do that. I'm going to change my background color so you can see the WebView in here. Now the background color is green. So, the label's right. WebViews, what do you mean a label?
Somehow I deleted it. So.
Or just drag another. What do you mean? Maybe you deleted your view?
No. Oh, that's a text box.
Yeah, I deleted the text box that was in the middle because I didn't like it. Okay, so this is the first tab. I guess the second tab we're going to put the audio and the video on there. So. Alright, so actually, let's go back to the code. And I believe we're loading in Google, so I'll show you how to load something into the URL as well. In fact, now that I know that you guys haven't seen the WebView yet, let's play around with the WebView for a few minutes before we go to the audio and the video so you can see how cool that is. So in the first view controller, which is where we stuck this in the first view controller, I hope. Yes, because this is the second. If we click on the little tuxedo, we should get the first view controller, which is the one we're going to change. The first view controller is working with this first view that we stuck the WebView inside of. So in the .h, we're going to drag and create a property. So switch over to the .h, first view controller.h. In between the @interface and the @end, we're going to control drag the WebView. And we're going to stick it in here. Whoops, we're not going to stick it like that. We're going to go like this here. Hello, there we go. Click on the WebView, control drag it this way. Much better. And I think I'm going to call it Web Display, but let me just check the name real quick. Web Display. So let's go Web Display. And it's a UI WebView. Leave it on weak. It's okay. Press connect. Now I got the UI WebView. Or it could be strong or weak. Doesn't really matter. Put it on whatever you want. I'm surprised yours is on strong by default. Interesting. Different version of Xcode maybe. Doesn't really matter. We're not going to do anything with it. WebView. Yeah, it means when you dragged it over, it was set on strong in the little dialog box. It's okay, it could be strong or weak, it should work just fine. Okay, so let's see. Now we're going to open up the first view controller.m, and in the view did load, well, let's load something into the web view. What are we going to load in? This URL, www.google.com. I'm going to change mine around though, just to be cool here. And then we're going to create a URL, which is going to be, this is a string. So we create an NS string with the URL we want to use. Then we create a URL object, assign it the string that actually contains the URL. Why we do that? We don't have to do it this way. We can actually just assign it automatically the string right here. But this is a better way because then you can just keep changing the URL address, and throughout the app the URL address will change. It's like setting a variable with the name of the URL instead of hard setting it. And then we do an NS URL request. Well, it's kind of like your browser when you press go. It does a request and it goes out and it's going to create an object. Well, we're creating an object, a request object with this object type. And it's going to be from the requested URL, and this is the URL, and the URL is google.com. And then web display load the request, load the requested URL that we got. So this should work if you, I'm just going to take and copy and paste it in here. So I'm going now to viewcontroller.m, and I'm putting this in the view did load method. And I did not synthesize my WebView. Ooh. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So up here I'm going to say @synthesize, and I'm going to put my WebView in here, web display. If I put the synthesized web display in there, then my error message goes away. Now if I run it, I should get Google showing up in my little WebView. Let's see what happens. Because I set it to Google. Do I have an internet access, or are you guys all trying it at the same time? Uh-oh. Do I have an internet access? Maybe I don't have internet access. I should have internet access. Let's see. Let's go change it to here. It might take a few minutes. I should have internet access. I thought it came. Yep, here it is. So the first time see, this is my website. I put something in here that was a little bit bigger because I wanted to show you the auto scroll that you get, but I didn't size this. There's a bunch of properties you can set on the web view to turn on JavaScript, to size it with the content, because you know how big this is, and it doesn't scroll. To take the scroll on, take the scroll off, but it should be functioning. So if I click on Spring as an example and click on iOS, it's working. It's going to the different subsections of the website, but it's super big actually. So there's people that put the entire app in a web view, and then when the app comes up, the web view loads it from an internet website. So you could put a bunch of stuff in there from like mobile app development for mobile websites. Put mobile views. Actually, ITU used to have one. You know what? Let me try that out real quick here. Not to deviate a little bit. Let me just see if ITU still has a mobile, because this is Safari mobile compatible, which means it would be the same as if I brought up the ITU website from. See, this is taking a little bit of time. No, that's not the mobile version. Oh, that is a mobile version. Is that a mobile version? That looks pretty mobile-ish. Oh yeah, that looks pretty mobile-ish. I guess we do have a mobile version. So there's the mobile version. So it'll bring up anything that your Safari browser brings up in your regular app. All right, now that we got done playing with the web view, now you can go online and search for a bunch of apps that are like. I'm gonna put this back on Google actually, because Google looks better. Well, I don't know, maybe not. Alright, so let's continue with the tutorial. Now we're going to run it, see what happens. Optionally, you can change the tab images if you want. How do you change the tab images? Well, then you can come up here. And if you click on the image over here, and make sure you have the property on the side here. You've got the title that says first. So I'm going to put like web browser here. Web browser. And then where it says image. Well, I have a first image in here. If I look at the supporting files, hold on a second. Let me find this files. Well, in here in the project, there's one that's called first, and then there's one that's called second that comes up automatically. Here, image. It's going to be in the image assets. But let's not worry about using those images. Instead, if you wanted to, you could drag and drop your own image in there. And here, let me go back to the storyboard. So if I wanted to, so here I put the words web browser in here. We're not going to get too much bigger on this. In fact, here are all the properties that we have. And the default position, we can offset it. We can make a slightly different appearance to it. We can't really do very much to it outside of changing maybe the image. So I don't really have too many images, but I could put it, let's say for example, on the second image. So now they both have the same image. They both have these little boxes. So this one has the box on it as well. So down here I'm going to call this one audio video. Audio video. There we go. So it doesn't really matter, but optionally you can change that stuff around. So it makes it kind of an interesting app if you change the images and stuff. Alright, so let's see what we got here. Make sure the images are 30 by 30 in size. 30 pixels by 30. It's kind of a small little image if you're going to change those images. So let's see, inside the first view controller, we got an init with nib. Let's see what we got here. Second view, inside the second view controller, the init with nib. We don't need to do any of that actually. This is what the problem was. It was an old file type that was converted to a new Xcode version, which is why those tabs didn't quite work the way we wanted them to do. So I'm going to skip this part here. So we're going to, are these numbered? So in step number 8, we're just going to work on the web part. So let's skip the image side of it. We're not going to change the images here. So let's just move on to step number 9 and add the audio video to it. So in step number 9, we're going to import the audio toolbox, media player, and the AV Foundation framework. Remember the ones we added to the project? And we're going to find a button and an IB outlet method to start and stop, like I saw in the other video that we in the other app. So I am just going to copy and paste and stick these 3 includes in here. And now we are working in the second view controller.h. So we're going to skip the rest of that stuff from the first view. In the second view controller, Let me make this a little bit bigger this way. Switch over to second view controller.h and add these 3 included files. So I'm going to paste them in here. So I have Audio Toolbox, AV Foundation, and Media Player, because we're going to make instances of these guys inside of this app. All right. So now in the interface, we're actually going to add in the use of the AV Audio Player Delegate, which is it's a protocol actually. So we're going to change this line here. I'm going to copy and paste and stick this line in here so you can see what the difference is. I'm going to stick it right underneath actually on our second view controller. So what we're doing here is we're adding the use of this protocol. I'm taking out the first line now. So the only thing I would do is I added this part. So optionally you can just add the use of the protocol to the, if you haven't taken the Objective-C course yet, you probably don't know what a protocol is. It's kind of like an interface file, if you want to think of it that way. It gives us a bunch of methods that we can use, and what we need to do is run this delegate here. So we have the, well, we're going to need to implement the methods in a few minutes that are part of the protocol, but it basically sets the stage for the running of the audio that we're going to use. Okay. So now we're going to make 2 instances of 2 objects. One of them is going to be an AV audio player. The other one's going to be an MV movie player controller. And so copy and paste these 2 object initializations. And we're going to need to put the opening and the closing brackets in here. Just the same way as we did with that UI image in the last tutorial. We're creating 2 instances of 2 objects. So now we have the player and the movie player, audio player and the video player. I guess I could have labeled them audio and video. And now we're going to add some function prototypes that we're going to need to use here. It's going to be audio start, audio end, and they're going to be UI buttons. So we can actually just put the UI buttons on the view controller and wire them manually instead of doing them this way. So let's go ahead and do that. So what we want to do then is open up the storyboard. Scroll back over so we have this second view controller. This is the one we're modifying. I'm going to take this one, move it up here, and I'm going to get rid of the label that's down here because we're going to add 4 buttons. Start audio, stop audio, start video, stop video to the UI display. Actually, I could probably I'm going to get rid of the label up here too, make some maximum room here. So let's see, open up over here, put UI button on the bottom here in our library. Button 1's going to be over here. Let's see. So now you can see with the tab view controller we're running out of real estate. 1, 2. I think on the other app I had them sort of like on opposite ends or something because I put the video in the middle. I think is what I did with this, but let's just see. So let's put the audio on the top. So this one's going to be start audio. This one's going to be end audio. Start video. And then end video. Okay. We got our massive assembly lining of apps here. You'll have that, I hope. If not, finish up. And then start out, I'm just making sure. Exit app. Oh, we could put an exit app in here. We can do that. I'm going to put the exit button. I'll put the exit in the center. Exit. Show you how to exit the app out as well. Because usually, sometimes when you just minimize or you suspend the app, the audio or the video is still playing. And so you're going to be disturbing all your neighbors if your audio and video is still playing. So actually, I'm going to move this over a little bit. I'm going to put this down here on the corner down here. All right, so I've got a bunch of buttons here. Sounds pretty good. So let's go ahead and wire them as the IB action. So I'm going to get rid of the side piece here. And you want to make sure you're wiring this to the second view controller.h, which is where we're putting it. And we know how to do this, I hope. Click on right click, and we're going to take each one of the buttons. So this one here is called Start Audio, and I'm going to do the touch down. You can do touch up inside, you can do any event you want. I'm going to call this one Start Audio. It doesn't really matter what you call it, as long as you remember. But something like Start Audio, Stop Audio, Start Video, Stop Video would probably work. So let's just do it this way. Start Audio. And this is going to be Stop Audio or End Audio. So let's say touch down. I'll just be consistent here. I'll go Stop Audio. Start Audio, Stop Audio. Start Video. Let's see. Touch down. Start Video. Stop Video. Like I said, call it anything you want as long as you remember what kind of stop video. And then I'm going to call this one Exit App. Touch down. Exit App.
Isn't the type UI button?
Yeah, they're all buttons. Oh, down here I used UI button, yes.
No, it's ID.
It doesn't matter. You can change. I left them on ID. I didn't change them over because all I got are buttons on here. You can leave them on ID. You can change the type over to UI button. ID is a generic data type that's used. So. Are we all wired up, ready to go? 2 more minutes? Okay. Let me stall a little bit. Do we need more time? Here, let me pause. Alright, now we're ready to put the code in for the buttons. So we got the audio start, and then we got the video start, and then we got the video stop, and then the exit app. Audio stop? I don't know. Video stop. Did I put an audio stop in here? Probably. Here's the audio stop. Alright, so the stops are pretty easy. Actually, the code in general is pretty easy. So what do we got going on here? For the audio start, we're going to create an NS URL that's going to be of music. It's going to basically we're going to create this. It's kind of an interesting concept, which is now I understand why the video was in there, why the website WebView is in here. All the multimedia stays the same way. You create a URL. This happens to be a local file that we put into the app, and we're running it from the app folder. If you put it on the internet, you put the regular URL to the video file on the internet, like the YouTube file or something. The good thing about loading it on the internet is you can change it. It goes away. Uh-oh, app broken if it goes away. If you put it inside of the app, then you're guaranteed to always have it with the app. And it runs faster because it's downloaded and it's inside the app. Only problem is it makes your app bigger. So your app has got all these files inside of all these multimedia files, pictures and stuff. Long story short, it's two-facet. So you wouldn't think about creating a URL, but it's a path. So it's a unified resource loader. So we create an NS URL, and it's a file URL with path. So NS string is a string with format. What's the format going to be? This is just the /. Means it's in the current directory of the app, which is where it gets loaded into. And it's going to be music.mp3, which is the file we called it over here. And it's part of the using the resource path, which is where we're going to have our files loaded into by default from NS Bundle. Alright, so we're going to do some error checking. So we got an NS error. And then we're going to say player. Well, that was the AV player. So AV audio player alloc. And then it's going to be initialized with the contents of the URL. And then copy our error into error, our NS error if we get an error. And then player number of loops is -1, which means I'll only play it one time. So otherwise it'll repeat over and over and over again. If the player is equal to nil, we couldn't find the file, player didn't get initialized correctly, then print the NS log with the error description. Otherwise, player play. And then lo and behold, we have player stop. So the player is the temporary variable. And actually, there we go. We don't need that anymore. If we go back to the, here's the second view controller. Here's the player here. It's the audio player. So let me show you the video file information, and it's very similar actually. So the audio stop is just player stop. For the video, doesn't it almost look the same to you? Very similar actually. So this is MP Movie Player Controller alloc for movie player. Up here it was audio, AV Audio Player alloc. We needed those other frameworks to support the video playing and the audio playing, but the instances of the objects that we're creating are the two that we originally created here, the AV Audio Player and the MP Movie Player Controller from MP Player, which is where that's coming from. So then back up here for the video start, we create again another URL, this one with the video.movie. So you just change the name of the file if you want to play a different one. And then create the URL with the string, the NS string that we used up here, where we got the path from the resource with the video.mov file extension on it. And then movie player, well then create a new MB player, allocate it. Here's the interesting part. It's going to go at 0, 0, 230, 230. So it's going to come up in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, which means I'm probably going to want to move my, because it's starting at 0, 0, and then it's going out to 320 by 320. So we'll see what happens. It's probably going to cover up my buttons for my audio, but we'll see what happens. And then here's the stop, player stop. So I'm actually going to do the stops first because it's easier. So video stop. If I click over to viewcontroller.m and I'm on the video, stop video, and I paste this in here, and then I get movie player stop. Did I synthesize? No, I don't need to synthesize because I didn't property. I created local variables instead. And then let me do my stop here for my audio. Player stop. Stop audio. And let's do my starts. So go ahead and copy the code in for the starts and the stops. If you change the names of your files, change the names of your file in the code. Here's the start audio. So let's take a look here. I need to get rid of some of the extra characters that got inserted. Clean this up a little bit. So now I remembered why then I put the WebView in there. I'm like, why is there a WebView in here? It's to show you it's done the same way as the WebView. It's all a URL. So let's see. This should work in a few seconds as soon as I get done cleaning it up. Let's see what this message says. Format string is not a string literal. Potentially insecure, but it's really not, so we're good with that. So I'm going to copy in the video start code. If you get that string literal error message, don't worry about it. It's potentially a problem. It depends if you didn't put a string in there, but we did, so we're good. Okay, we'll just leave that alone. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and test her out. Ambiguous layout, misplaced view. Now let's see what happens here. So there's my Google. The Google works pretty good here. Oh, you know what? I didn't put my video's too low. Okay, so I have a problem because my bottom is too low. So let me bring those back up. Actually, I want to move them. Oops. I hear somebody's is working. That's good. Let's see if I can find my layout again. I need to move these guys back up. The screen's too low. So let's put them here. Let's see if that's going to be high enough. Oh, we didn't program the exit button. So, and I hear the video running. Someone's got the video working. We didn't program the exit button. So, exit is just going to be exit 0. This is actually this is Objective C, but it's just like C. It's exit, which is going to exit our app. So, I'm going to stick the exit code in here because I forgot. And we're just making a call to exit 0. Why? Because just in case we can't get the video to stop or something, we don't want to have it continuing to play, so it's just a safe way to get out of that app. Alright, let's see. Now that I move the buttons up, maybe my video will show. So now you guys can... Oh, I hear my short video. I hear now my buttons are video. My buttons are showing.
Hey everybody, this is a short video for demonstration purposes.
End video. And the exit works too. Look at that. So, all right. So where's my? I think I called it audio something. Here it is. Here's a lovely app again. So you can see. Does this work? Let's see. Yes, my Google search should work. Unknown precise location. Yes. Yeah. The video search. I mean the Google search is working. Yeah, audio is working.
Hey everybody, this is a short video for demonstration. That's it.
The only problem with the video though is it's covering up my buttons up here. So I probably could put the buttons right underneath maybe. So let's see. Because I could theoretically play both simultaneously. So let's see. If I move the audio start, yeah, it'll...
Hey everybody, this is a short video.
There we go. Now I think I got a better UI. Let's see. So you could theoretically have like a dozen tabs with a dozen videos or something if you wanted to, I guess. See. So
hey everybody, this is a short video for demonstration purposes. That's it.
Alright. Alright, so that is the end of this one. That's audio and video controls. So let me stop this video. I think I will post the solution from the one I just created versus the other original sample project. So. Oops.